Welcome back, boys and girls. I'm so excited for today's experiment and Bible story. Now, before we get into the Bible story, this week's main point is about trusting Jesus. Have faith and keep your eyes on Jesus. Trust Jesus.
Welcome, boys and girls, to another week of Science with Jesus, where we learn about the natural laws of the world and Jesus' supernatural power to overcome those laws. This week's main point is have faith and keep your eyes on Jesus. You know what that reminds me of?
What?
That reminds me of our day camp that was online this year. And our main point every single day that we always said was trust Jesus. Have faith and keep your eyes on Jesus means to trust in him. We know what trust means, right?
Yeah.
Trust means knowing who Jesus is and believing that he's going to do what he says he does. Believing that he's going to follow through and keep his promises to us. One promise that Jesus made us is that when we believe in him and follow him, God is always with us. The Holy Spirit lives inside of us. Today, we're going to also hear about a story in the Bible where one man believed what Jesus told him he could do, and he did something impossible. First, I'm going to let Chantal share this science experiment with you, and then we'll talk more about the Bible story.
Okay, sounds good. So, for this science experiment, you guys are going to need 2 cups, preferably ones you can kind of see through. And you're going to need 2 raw eggs, so just straight from the fridge. They don't need to be cooked or anything. And you're also going to need some salt, some table salt, and some water, okay? So,
And adult supervision.
oh yeah, and adult supervision.
Because raw eggs are messy.
Yeah, if it falls on the ground, good luck cleaning that up. Okay, so this first step in this experiment is, I'm just going to move that there for a minute.
Great.
You want to fill up 1 cup, maybe I'll do this one,
Okay.
just all the way up of some water.
Okay.
And then for the second cup here, you're going to fill it up halfway to about there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put a lot of salt in it. So you're going to take your first egg and you're going to put it in the cup that has no salt in it. And it sinks right to the bottom.
Right away.
Yeah. And then you're going to take your second egg and you're going to put it in the cup that does have salt in it. And you're going to see it floats right to the very top.
Oh my goodness.
And you're gonna see it floats right to the very top. Oh my goodness.
Can they see that?
Today's Bible story is found in Matthew 14:22-33. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and, beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You have little faith," he said. "Why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." So this story is super interesting because it wasn't found in Mark, it wasn't found in Luke, and it wasn't found in John. It was only found in Matthew. And it's interesting because in the books of Mark, Luke, and John, those are stories all written of second-hand accounts, not first-hand accounts. But in this story of Matthew and Jesus walking on water with Peter, that was right from Matthew's perspective because he actually saw Peter walking on water with Jesus. So not only had Matthew experienced, but he understood and he trusted Jesus because he saw this experience and this miracle unfold right before his eyes. And right before the story, we saw that Jesus performed a crazy miracle and he fed the 5,000. And right after this story, Jesus asks Peter, "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter says, "You are the Son of God." He realized that Jesus was 100% man and 100% human. And I don't know if you guys remember, in this science experiment, you're going to see that there's one egg that sinks and one egg that floats. The one egg that sinks, it kind of represents Peter. When he got his eyes off of Jesus, he started sinking into the water. But the egg that floated, it had salt in it. And that salt, that represents Jesus and our faith in him and our trust in him. Because when we have that, we float. We don't sink because we have the faith in him. And this story is so important because we know, if we know Jesus, it helps us to trust Jesus. Faith produces actions, and Jesus does amazing things in our lives. And I hope that this story helps you guys to trust Jesus even more in your daily life so that he can perform miracles for you and I as well. So have faith and keep your eyes on Jesus.